WrestleFriends! WrestleFriends podcast!
Welcome to the WrestleFriends podcast. I'm Dave, and I'm with Mark.
Hi.
And it's nice to be here.
Episode number 31.
I've ate curry for 2 days straight up curry boy.
So we're having a conversation about this, weren't we? Like, you mixed two sauces.
So my wife got chicken tikka masala.
I thought it was a strange thing to do.
It worked out alright.
Like, you made a new sauce.
it's what was it? Chicken tikka Madras. Oof.
You could get chicken tikka. You can get like the
chicken
cooked
tikka
in it
in Madras, can't
but
you?
it was just the sauces, wasn't it?
Yeah,
mixed together.
Total combo. Clash of mild and hot.
Mixed in rice. Like when you during a difficult work day, that's a lovely little warm hug in the tummy.
It wasn't. You know how you get that little warm feeling in your tummy off having curry. Well, it seems like when you have it the next day, it just warms your tummy that little bit more.
You've just done a big crap as well, haven't you? Because of having curry.
I talk about that, but my wife wasn't really happy about the poo I just had because of 2 days curry. But that really did make my day better. What made your day better, Mark?
Today?
Mm-hmm.
Donuts. I had donuts.
It's always food, isn't it?
I've got drop scones.
Pancakes.
/ Scotch pancakes, but I'm gonna keep them till tomorrow morning.
I don't know why they call them drop scones.
Because you put them in a ladle and you drop them, and that's how you get the splat circular effect.
Ladle, ladle, ladle.
A ladle out of tray.
Ladle, ladle, ladle. Eating Scotch wine, pancakes.
Oh, bad words. Have you done any interesting things other than eat curry this week?
No. I've been watching a lot of the World Cup, and I've been I bought Leo football because he's been watching it and he wanted to play football. So I went to Northumberland Park down the road, and he had what I think is like about only the 5th game of football he's ever had in his life.
One for every year.
It's the first time he's shown any interest in it, which is good, and he's been running around the house shouting "Come on England" and stuff like that. And then we went for fish and chips after. It was good.
Sounds like a good time.
Apart from that, World Cup and trying to cram all the wrestling in that's been on, and I've failed miserably because he got poorly again. Miserably. What have you been up to?
Not a lot really. Like mainly wrestling. So I worked out.
Oh yeah, we went to that wrestling show as well.
I worked out over the last week. I've watched 3 wrestling shows, 1 live. Mm-hmm. So it's about 8.5 hours of wrestling. It's good.
It's good going.
It's a good week of wrestling.
It's a whole lot of content, brother.
It is. Shall we do Defiant first, Jermaine?
The one we went to.
Yeah,
we can do.
So we went to Defiant Built to Destroy on Sunday, June the 17th.
This was a lovely Father's Day treat for me because I didn't even know I was going.
I did.
Sneakies. He's done sneakies behind me back. Everyone at work knew as well. The only person that didn't know was me.
That's all the point.
Secrets.
Shall we get into how we like Defiant, but we think at times it can be a bit boring?
I've never been to one that I've found 100% boring. This one was quite boring.
No,
and I think it might be
every show. There's been part of it that you've thought,
hurry up and finish.
Not really interested in this.
Yeah,
why do you think that is?
It must be hard for them because they try to book quite big people.
Yeah,
and it must be hard for them, I think.
Do you think the pacing of their shows sometimes a bit funny? For example, this show had Will Ospreay on. And he was like, his match was before the main event, which was Rampage and Martin Kirby. Like that should be the other way around. because although I like Rampage and Martin Kirby, I know like
you were ready to leave by the time they came on.
they're not as big a stars as him.
No when yeah.
And your big star you should be building your show towards your big star.
But then maybe that's what they're trying to do, build people up to be big stars.
I always feel the same way coming away from the Defiant show that you describe.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed large portions of that show, but there's something not quite.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they know, and we've talked about it before. I don't think they know stylistically who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a North show.
Yeah, it's full on like
all stylistically fits. Whereas I think Defiant, we've talked about how you have like your match where it's like Volta and Travis Banks beating the shit out of each other, and that's mint. And then you have your hardcore match, but then you have like randomly in there you have two guys you don't really know, and that sucks. And then like it's just.
I think the first time I went to Defiant, right, it was still WCPW at the time, and
was their last show? It
was the last one I went to, and it was really good. And but it was like that then as well. Like Jay Lethal was on first.
Yeah.
And you're thinking to yourself, Christ, you know what I mean? You keep that for later on. I don't know. It's like with the production and stuff like that. It's almost like
it's a good
it's
production.
really production. It's like squeaky clean almost,
Yeah.
but like, and then they try to do sort of gritty things at times, but then
it doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit. Yeah. Like they're chucking chairs around and stuff, like in the crowd and stuff like that, and but they've got this whole squeaky clean production.
And we're not talking
like,
from the point of view of people that don't support Defiant, because I've been to the last 3 shows, you've been to like more. Like we support them and we'll want them to do well, because obviously the more wrestling in your hometown, the better. And they're a Newcastle-based company.
Yeah.
To elsewhere, but they're a Newcastle-based company. It's like, but there's just always something not quite right.
They don't. I think with North, you've got the wrestlers that are North wrestlers. You know what I mean? They've done good jobs building the characters up with the wrestlers. Like they've got that, and although they're wrestling in other places, when they come back to North, it's like the HT Drake thing again, isn't it? Like, and you even mentioned it yourself this time. He's everywhere he wrestles. He's HT Drake, but he comes to Defiant, and he's just Drake. Everyone knows who he is.
Shall we kick off with that then? Where is he? So, he wrestled Simon Miller, who's the What Culture guy.
Yeah.
He loses, cuts in a really good entitled heel promo.
Yeah.
Never really heard him on the mic before.
HT Drake was probably my favourite thing about that whole night. I think it's really good.
His presentation.
Yeah. And I think he must be, like, with all the stuff that's going on in the UK at the minute, TV shows and stuff that are starting, surely someone must be going to tap him up.
And if they don't, he's going to have an opportunity to be a more prominent figure,
champion,
in these on the indies, because you're going to have all these gaps open up.
Yeah.
And I'd never heard him on the mic before, and he was heel.
Yeah, it's good.
He was like, I'm HT everywhere else, I'm not here. You've got this guy who's like a YouTube.
It was like a
Kevin Owensy.
Yeah, spit your dummy out sort of heel promo, wasn't it? And
I always respect that. It takes a big man to act
what's the word?
Act like a coward and entitled and like kick your toys out the pram. I always think like you got to not take yourself too seriously to be able to do that.
But then you've got that whole thing that we were talking about, is that we've watched him jump off a balcony before, so we're always going to cheer him.
Yeah.
So
I was like, tell him HT, because
you were merry. Weren't you?
So I made early on in the night. I was like, we were in the Weatherspoons before, and I had 3 pints in there.
$1.99 a pint.
Good times. Weatherspoons, gift from God.
I was a little bit gutted because I had to take the cart. So this is probably part of the reason I didn't enjoy the night so much, was because I'd been to Weatherspoons. It was $1.99 a pint, and I couldn't really drink very much.
Yeah.
And from the get-go, that meant I was a little bit upset.
There was 2 reasons I decided to drink. So I hadn't been drunk for a while, and it's fun to be drunk. And I was like, in Weatherspoons I had 3 pints, and I was like, I can either buy it. So if I buy a t-shirt, I show it guarantees us that I'll not be drunk, because lots of me money goes.
Did the lack of merch, because there wasn't much merch there, was there?
Well, no, I'd gone. I wanted to get a Defiant t-shirt because, as I said, I want to support the company, even though I have been critical. And I know if I buy a t-shirt, I'm definitely not going to be drunk. Mm-hmm. But then in Weatherspoons, I was like, I think I might get drunk. And I'd bought the ticket for Ben for his birthday, so I thought, let's get drunk.
It's all going on. I don't like the Defiant t-shirts though.
No, they weren't great. That's part of my decision.
The big
but it was a good. All the stars aligned. There was myself, you, Ben, Fraser, and Mark Batson. It was good.
It was a really good turnout.
Good crew. Good crew.
And I really enjoyed it. It's nice to see Fraser outside of doing the podcast because I've never really seen him outside.
Last time we went to Defiant, he had a bad back and couldn't go.
Couldn't go. Yeah. So, it was good.
But so next, Gabriel Kid squashed Prince Amin. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Gabriel Kid's work. He's another one who's gonna, I think, be more prominent on the British scene now that a few of the guys are moving on to Pastors New, it appears.
Looking that way, there's a few things going on because obviously you've got WWE are doing their thing. They're probably trying to squash out the World of Sport thing,
and they're going to try and lock people down to contracts. And you've just started getting people like Joe Henry, for example, signing for Impact, which is interesting.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, Impact are making partnerships with people left, right, and centre. So you don't know how many of them might tootle off over there.
Austin Aries coming over here quite a lot, and Joe Henry going over there. You've got to think there's got to be some sort of
Don Callis, man.
Chats going on.
He is the man.
I love Gabriel Kid's no music gimmick.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. It's
and
good
he was
for
doing
a heel.
it, and he was doing it before Tommaso as well.
Before Ciampa. Somebody next to us said something about only Ciampa can get away with this. Wrong. Right, and that woman was wrong.
Well, if she was wrong, I think it's more impactful, obviously, but she was wrong based on the fact that, well, he did it first.
I think she might be one of them people that actually was fully invested in the wrestling as a real thing.
Right.
I think she hated him as a person.
Yeah. Well, less said about that. Actually, no, I like that sort of wrestling fan. It's nice in a way.
Kayfabe, they're keeping it alive.
Kayfabe. Next was Jimmy Havoc versus Keithley Ray. Hardcore championship match.
It was a good match, wasn't it?
It was the opener. Loads of weapons. The spot, they did the spot twice that I absolutely love, where you get Irish whipped just into. You tell everyone to move out of the way, and you Irish whip someone just into chairs. Oh, I don't know how much it hurts, but it looks like it. Really
I like when
hurts.
Jimmy screams at the crowd to get out of the way. Get out of the fucking way!
So, just on Jimmy Havoc, an absolute gent. So obviously he's friends with Fraser. Came for a pint with us afterwards. Because I was drunk, I asked him loads of things about death matches and didn't mind because I was drunk and didn't feel self-conscious. And he was really actually quite a laid-back guy. And he's but I think I said something yeah, I just love death matches and people going through glass. And he was yeah, so do I. And then we just talked for ages, and it was mint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I wish Fraser was here because quite a lot of the conversation I can't remember, and I bet I said some really stupid things to him that Fraser would be able to laugh at us about. So I'll have to ask him.
I wonder if it's weird because Fraser had a Jimmy Havoc t-shirt on while I was talking to Jimmy Havoc.
Yeah.
I wonder if Jimmy Havoc's that's cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I wonder. He seemed like quite a. He wasn't arrogant in any way. And also it was Millie McKenzie's 18th, and she was with us.
Were they the only two that were out?
Only two wrestlers, yeah.
He must have had a busy day because the next day he was at
down
south,
and then the day after he flew to Australia. So yeah, Millie McKenzie's both a girl and a wrestler, so I didn't talk to her at all.
Scary.
Yeah.
You like her though, don't you?
I do.
She's good.
She's
she
really
is good.
She's. I think I didn't realise how young she was, so I think she'll be.
She'll be a big deal, won't she? When she grows up.
And she gets big.
Still beat us up.
So yeah, Havoc retained. So they must be continuing with the hardcore division. So I think they had Haskins and Havoc, but I think they're going to push Havoc again as singles.
Haskins has been working with Impact as well.
Yeah, he's and Havoc and Haskins aren't working together in Progress anymore. It's Webster and Haskins.
I wonder if Haskins might be on his way out altogether.
Well, there was certainly no mention of. He literally went from the show before we watched. They were partners to
I really like Mark Haskins. He was going to be the one. He was going to be the one whose t-shirt I bought if we went to Progress. And now I don't
You
think
still
he did
wrestles
it.
for Progress.
He
And he
still
will.
wrestles for them.
You
Do
will
think
still
he will?
wrestle for Progress.
Cool.
Even all the way up to September, he's booked for Progress.
Is he?
Yeah. Right. So next was Joe Henry, Will Ospreay, with a number 1 contendership for the Defiant Internet Championship. I felt that Ospreay was doing more grappling and holds than high spots.
I think he'd done a lot of mental stuff in New Japan and Dominion? What's it called? Dominion, that's the one. They've done loads of talking on it and how he's going to have a really short career if he doesn't like pack it in. Maybe he's going to...
But I didn't dislike it. I just didn't dislike him doing more grappling and working and selling.
Maybe he doesn't just do... Maybe, you know, on these little shows like this, maybe he just doesn't do it to try and, like...
prolong his career.
Yeah.
And he's also has been talking about entering the heavyweight, so he wants to be in the G1.
Uh-huh.
And you can't be doing millions of flips if you're a heavyweight.
Yeah.
You just do 1 or 2.
Uh-huh.
So maybe, and he did do a couple, so I think it's preparing for that. But what I'm saying is I didn't dislike him as that kind of wrestler.
Yeah.
I love Joe Henry, top heel, straight away. People booing the shit out of him. Aforementioned, he's going to Impact.
Uh-huh.
So that's exciting for him. So Ospreay won. So he means he gets to wrestle Volta, which will be...
That'll be good.
Would you consider going if that was happening in Newcastle?
Yeah. I'd also...
Got to put that on last, right?
I'd like to see Walter beat him.
So
because he doesn't
well,
take photos with you unless you pay.
But we didn't get to find out whether Volta did that or not because I bought a t-shirt.
Walter spoke to me though, even though I wasn't buying anything.
What did he say to you?
Well, I was just talking with you, wasn't I? Was that a thing? Or did I make that up?
You were stood next to us. You took the picture. You were
So
involved. So like,
well, that seemed like a nice guy.
Volta.
Will Ospreay looks like a guy who might not.
How do I say this? He's got a little bit of a
ego
chip
on his shoulder. Maybe he's.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
Maybe I'm completely wrong and he's a really nice person.
Yeah. Sorry, Will.
Soz. He's not listening.
So next was Millie McKenzie and Bea Priestley for the Defiant Women's Championship. My match of the night, this one.
Yeah. Can't remember it.
So Bea Priestley is from New Zealand.
I can.
She actually bills herself as Will Ospreay's girlfriend.
Will Ospreay's girlfriend.
Which is a little bit worrying for me. Like in her literature, it says Will Ospreay's missus. I'm not sure if I'm cool with that.
Getting yourself over off the back of someone else.
More just like it's not very progressive in its thinking for women.
It's not very progressive for if they split up either because she'll not be able to put that anymore. And
she's an awesome wrestler.
Yeah, she doesn't either.
He trained her like so.
She looks like she might hurt her foot in this match as well because she came hobbling back to the merch.
It was either a top
like a ice pack on her foot or something.
It was either a top sell or
she looked like she was hurt. Like.
The best spot of the match was she draped Millie McKenzie over the barrier and did a double stomp from the top rope.
Oof, that looked like it hurt. I was a bit surprised at the end result of this match. I thought Millie was going to win.
And she dropped the belt.
Mm-hmm.
She had it for a couple of months now. And she's wrestling in that Ringmaster tournament.
Is she?
Yeah. So...
See, I'm not cool with all this.
Her and Kaylee Ray's in it as well. The Ringmaster. Intergender wrestling.
I'm not right. Is it wrong? And will I get put on a...
Tell us what you think and then...
Will the mob come and get us?
I think you have to be honest about how you feel about it.
I'm not digging it. I don't know. I don't...
So the intergender match that we saw on this show is Jimmy Havoc and Kaylee Ray for the Hardcore Championship. What were your feelings on that?
Well, it happened.
Yeah.
And at the end, it was nice when he lifted our arm up and stuff like that, and was like, "Oh, you done all right in that." But I'd rather see him have a full scale hardcore match with a bloke.
But he did. But he battered her.
I know. I don't know.
Do you think a little bit of you is it kind of feels a little bit like in society? Obviously, you're taught not to hit women. And growing up, you're taught not to hit women because it's
I'm not saying it's wrong.
Does it kind of ilk on the side of domestic abuse in theatre?
Nah, I wasn't even thinking of it that way. I just like to see the males wrestle the males and the women wrestle the women. Because
I mean, in Japan, they have massive women's federations that are
it's like
huge.
You've got women's football teams. The women aren't going to start coming and playing in the Premier League, are they?
No.
It's not like bad because obviously they want to do it. They wouldn't like do it if they didn't want to do it. Nobody's going to make them do it. But like, and I'm not saying in any way that it's wrong because they want to do it. But like, it's just not for me.
I don't know. Like Pete Dunne and Millie McKenzie are the tag team champions. I think that's kind of cool.
It is. It's cool in a way
because they're very similar character wise and like.
It's cool if like if that's that fair enough. But you know, me,
no, like, I'm not having to go.
And I like a sandwich when the women come on, and like I can't do that. It's like, what do? Have half a sandwich.
Tut.
What do?
Watch them wrestle. But yeah, this was my match of the night. It was awesome. I'd like to see a rematch in the future. Aussie Open retained against CCK. So Kid Like Us has returned.
He has.
So he returned on the Progress show that I'll talk about in a bit, so watch that as well.
He's very little.
He is tiny. He's good because you'd only seen Chris Brooks as a singles guy.
And Chris Brooks is too tall.
So it's like
and he looks like he hurt himself as well. He was out the whole last half of that match in the corner, and people were actually coming over to see if he was alright.
Too. Oh, Chris Brooks, yeah. I remember that now, yeah.
He was really hurt.
Do you think?
And he didn't go up the ramp at the end. He walked off at the.
Do you think? I don't think I think he wrestled not long after for another company.
Did he?
So I think that was re-debuting CCK. So you don't want to look.
Is that a way to get them?
You don't want to look weak, but you don't want to take the belts off Aussie Open because they've got this endless visa.
What's the big dude called out Aussie Open?
Mark Davies.
So Mark Davies, right?
I was going to talk about him again later.
Yeah,
bit of a beast.
He's right. I've only just started noticing this guy because I've never really been that into Aussie Open, but like he's an absolute tank. Him
well, I showed you that match against Walter, and he went to them like.
He's an absolute beast, and I think Double C would be that kind of wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see Mark Davis in a few years' time being a singles guy.
Possibly.
In a big company.
What would become of the little skinny funny head dude?
Kyle Fletcher, I don't know. They would have I tell you, they'd have a really good breakup angle. I'd enjoy that. So Rampage retains over Martin Kirby.
Hey!
Everyone wants to stay away from me because I just
on pause. So Rampage Martin Kirby was the.
Yeah, I lost interest by this time.
Bad pacing when you've got Will Ospreay on your show, and that women's match was so good as well.
And Martin Kirby's poop.
Martin Kirby, everybody else likes him, and we've discussed this on the last one. Are we wrong? But like.
They don't just like him, right? They properly love him.
Because I was drunk, I think I absolutely was rinsing him really loudly the whole time.
Yeah, but like, but I think.
But I paid me money,
and I just think like a lot of people were getting angry, like angry looks in their face.
Wanted him to.
That you did not like him, like.
Well, looking at me.
Like you did, like.
I was in one of them moods where I was like, I'll fight you all.
It's angry though. Like, why do they get so angry that we don't like him?
I don't know.
I don't like him because he's got a flumpy bum. Remember that?
Flumpy bum?
Flumpy bum. When we were calling him flumpy bum.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Because he had flumpy writing on his bum.
It was like, the Kirby writing, flumpy bum. Yeah, people must have thought we were proper cool dudes. So, yeah, thankfully, Rampage retained. I was sure it was a great match, but I don't like Kirby, and I was really drunk, so... but then at the end of the match, Gabriel Kid came out and stared him down. So I'm game for that.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Because it's like
I wonder who
now we've got two badasses and Martin Kirby's not involved.
Yeah, I wonder what.
And David Starr will get back involved because he had that brawl with them at the end of the Rumble.
I wonder if they'll get any more big names in. You know, like. How sometimes
Japanese
they get, like sometimes they get like, because obviously Will Ospreay's a big name, but he's like, he can't be there all the time.
It's like Marty Skrull might come back. Who else? Somebody like Hangman Page maybe would
so
put some bums in seats. But the thing is, they're not going to be able to sign guys who are wrestling for the WWE, so that's where you're going to have to go. But you use up lots of your budget.
Yeah. Paying one guy,
getting those people, but that's going to make me go.
But then, There wasn't many people there on Sunday.
I think that's the worst attended one we've been to.
And that was probably just because the only big name was Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
I think. Which is what North does well, building up their own characters, because we
care more about Rory Kyle's
who are in attendance, right? They were all there and I'm thinking to myself, why don't you just get them in the ring and it would be so much better?
Like you could do
England's hardest men were there.
You could do a North
invasion angle. That would be really good, but and
a load of people wouldn't know who they were, so they could come in the ring and explain who they were. Mm-hmm. It's an angle at Defiant, and it puts North over.
I think it's really cool that they all hang out together and stuff and go to because they were all at the UK tournament as well the next night. Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
It's very much like a big family, and I think ultimately the goal has to be everybody works everywhere. Yeah, and WWE is a stumbling block in that, but I think Triple H is trying to change that a bit.
No, he is.
Because they've got working relationships with Progress and ICW, and I'm sure he would be open for that to extend to other places.
They're doing stuff now that they wouldn't have done if you look even 5 years ago.
Absolutely not.
If you're looking at like that documentary that was on after the Hardy Brothers thing, Hardy Boys, sorry, and they were showing all the Impact stuff, wouldn't happen.
No.
They've been showing matches with AJ and Kurt Angle and stuff like that, and that stuff with Kenny Omega, his early stuff. Like they put that on the night after that big match in New Japan, massively promoting them, and that thing they're doing with the New Day as well. They've allowed the New Day to be on Being the Elite.
Yeah, because they had that Street Fighter tournament thing, didn't they?
So that's like going back 5 years.
And not only were they on Being the Elite, but like Kenny Omega was openly making jokes about them not being in the main event and stuff, which is like, it's mind blowing to think that like they're just not bothered by that. And like up, down, down as well, which all of that would have been on, is a WWE run.
Yeah.
Like YouTube. Weird. It's a good time.
It is?
It's a good time. The thing is though, if everybody just worked everywhere and there was no borders, no countries, we'd have less to talk about.
Well, that's true. They can't do that though, because the money's got to be made somewhere, and like you've still got to be the best.
Exclusivity means
you've still got to be the best, haven't you?
Yeah.
To make the most money. So, and if everybody just clubbed together, then that would be silly.
It would.
It would make no business sense. It would not be best for business.
And you've always got to do what's best for business.
Totally.
So show 2 that I watched was Progress Chapter 71, FEELINGCALLEDPROGRESS.
What?
Feeling called Progress with dots between all of them.
Cool. Is that what the name of the thing?
They always have cheeky little names. The next one's called Got, Need.
Oh, like Sticker Book.
Like Sticker Book.
Nice.
So going back onto Mark Davis, there's Danny Duggan versus Mark Davis, which is the Natural Progression semi-final match. So they have like amongst new like up and coming younger guys that have a Natural Progression tournament in progress,
right?
Which Mark Davis is in the final of now because he wins this match.
You know the Progress shows that you put on that memory stick for me. Mm-hmm. Are they how many were there on there? 2.
2.
Are they the 2 before the one you've just watched?
No.
So they're ages ago.
Right.
Okay.
There's like 3 or 4 shows.
See, I might
in
miss
between
them. I might give you the memory stick back, and I might put this one on and just start from there.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Because I've got too much to watch.
Well, that's always the problem. It's a good problem to have.
But
it's why it's good. Like this, I want to watch Deathmatch tournaments next week, and as well as the UK Championship tournament. So, like, it'll always be something different to talk about.
Yeah, I've still got all that to watch. I've still got all that NXT TakeOver, all the Money in the Bank to watch, which I don't think I'm watch.
I'm gonna let Money in the Bank go.
WWE main roster comes secondary to me these days.
Totally. So yeah, Natural Progression semi-final. A hard-hitting war. As we've said, Davis is a bit of a beast. We enjoy watching him. It's really nice watching him progress because he's wrestling as a singles.
Right.
Kyle Fletcher comes to the ring with him, and he does things like throw him his gum shield and that. So maybe
that would be a good way for them to go then.
Say Mark Davis gets to the final of he is in the final, but wins this Natural Progression tournament, and then Kyle Fletcher turns on him.
Working visa that never ends.
Working visa that never ends. So yeah, this is awesome. You'll enjoy this one because it's lots of like. Danny Duggan's quite a heavy set guy, and it's just hurties going on.
Type of guy that.
It's one of them matches that just builds and builds and builds and builds with like strikes to the fact where I think Davis just wins with a punch. But it's like believable because they've just been killing each other. So next was Spike Trivet, who is my favourite wrestler at the minute, versus Jimmy Havoc. So second Jimmy Havoc match of the week. So this was amazing. So Spike Trivet, so the whole storyline with Jimmy Havoc in progress in the minute is that he is finished.
Right.
Will Ospreay came out at the last show and said that you're not the same man who had the longest reigning Progress champion ever. You're finished, you're broken, you're beaten down. I need the old Jimmy Havoc back. He's challenged him to wrestle at their September show, which is going to be the Wembley Arena show, which is the biggest UK show in 30 years. It's going to be. So yeah, that's the whole storyline, that he's beaten down, broken, etc. And Will Ospreay's challenged him in the future. So Spike Trivet's come out and said, "I'm the big deathmatch guy now. You're finished." Like, Spike Trivet's amazing on the mic, and I listened to a podcast from him the other day, and he's was a trained, he's got a degree in acting.
The Thesp.
He's a Thesp. So like his promos are like unreal.
Nice.
So Jimmy takes an absolute beating, like 6 or 7 like no hand assisted chair shots to the head, which not many people do anymore.
Yeah.
Really good, really like hardcore. So Trivet actually wins and is like, "See, I told you were finished." So they're gonna go with this whole like trying to get the old Jimmy Havoc back. Really good character progression. Like,
so is Jimmy Havoc in Progress, right? Is he like different to what he is in Defiant?
In Defiant, they're not really going with that storyline, are they? That he's still like the hardcore champion, still winning. Like, whereas they're doing this storyline in Progress where it's like the redemption of of Jimmy Havoc,
where you like watch one, as if you won't be watching another one.
Well, it's what we've talked about before, isn't it? The messiness of the whole thing, but there's not a lot to do it. But that was really cool. So it draws on real life issues that Jimmy Havoc's having. So like Spike Trivet was like, your girlfriend's left you, like you're homeless, you've got problems with alcohol, like nobody wants you around anymore. Literally, like things that are actually happening in his real life.
Is that real?
Like, yeah, so there's been like a lot of talk about kind of personal issues that he's got and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just think it's amazing, given of like a character, that he be willing for that to be involved in the storyline.
So what was he like when he spoke to him? Was he did he strike you as a person with problems?
Not at all. He's just a lovely man.
Wow.
But like, people have problems you don't like necessarily see when you're just having a conversation with them.
Yeah.
But like, I just think that's amazing, and it's getting this like feud,
realism,
and the feuds between Havoc and Ospreay. But because Ospreay is obviously not there all the time, they're using these other
middlemen.
But it's gonna be, and hopefully,
I suppose it's a good way to do it when you kind of get the talent all the time.
Because Spike Trivet was like, I've had my friend William Ospreay on the phone. I believe you've heard of him, and he was like, and it's right what he tells us about you, and I like suspected it myself and stuff, and like, so they're creating the feud around other people. I think it's gonna be epic.
Cool.
I really want to go to the show, but I think we're back away.
So the Landon one.
Landon's
too expensive.
So next was Chris Brooks, too long, versus Angelica. Angelico's like a high-flying South African. He's also really long as well.
Long people.
So I think you'll probably not like this match because of the longness. It is a really good match, but there's a lot of longness going on. So Brooks said he's going to enter the Thunder Bastard Tag tournament at this show that I'm talking about in September, the Wembley show, with or without a partner. So he beats Angelica in this match, and then he's like, I'm going to enter it regardless. So Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Haskins, who are together at the moment,
I seen that.
They attacked him and was like, well, your partner's out and you're not making it to London either, and they were going to like put him out. So then Lycos hit the ring. So that was like that happened before the Defiant one.
They were hitting him with a helmet and that, weren't they?
Yeah. So like that happened before the Defiant one, so that was the big reveal.
Yeah.
So he came out with his sling on. He did the whole like
Yeah,
came out
I've
with his
seen
sling
that.
on.
Yeah.
So that actually in Defiant, all of the posters had Chris Brooks
With a
in
question mark. Yeah.
because this show happened before Defiant happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was cool. So they're back in. So this is another thing I like about Progress is like everything's a tournament. Everything's like you have 3 main feuds, and then everything else means something because it's like.
You know what I don't like
tournament.
about Progress though? That you have to like buy every show.
You don't. You could have their equivalent of the network.
But you're still paying for it then.
$5. That's why I like to get a show, and then if I can't afford to get the next one.
How
I
much
just
are the
don't.
shows individually though?
$10.
See, I think that's a bit much for one show.
Yeah.
I think that what they should do is.
I don't know. I'm happy to pay it, like, because I can't physically get to these shows. So and it's cheaper than a ticket.
It's pretty
and I
hard
can keep
to
it forever.
It's
I
hard to
can't-
keep up with though, isn't it? If you're not like, because some people haven't got a pot to piss in, right? So like, how can they like afford 10 quid to watch their favorite wrestling every time it comes out? It's pretty steep, I think.
Yeah.
I think then what they need to do is, we've talked about this before as well, seeing as they've got this partnership with WWE, is just stick it on the network.
But it's what we said again. It's meant to be punk rock wrestling Progress, right? So then you're losing control over it entirely.
Mm.
And they sound like the sort of people, the owners, who would only agree to this working relationship if they had control what happened within Progress.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Stick it on telly.
So yeah, everything's so the Thunder Bastard. They've had the Thunder Bastard singles, which they've had recently, which is like a kind of a 7-man elimination match. So they're gonna have a tag team version at this September show. So that's what that was about. But that's why like everything's like a thing.
Yeah.
So next you had see if I can get all of the connotations of this match. Jack Sexsmith and Walter versus the South Pacific Power Trip, which is Travis Banks, the Progress champ, and TK Cooper. Big fan of TK Cooper. I'm a big fan of his swag.
Travis Banks is a Progress champion.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Is he? Cool.
So, because they're both New Zealanders, and Travis Banks has started doing the whole like heel coward, run away,
right?
Stick TK in the ring and run away, which I really like.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening now. Right. So Sexsmith or Walter get the pin. They get a title shot against Travis Banks.
Right.
Travis Banks gets the pin. Neither of them get a championship shot while he's the champion. TK Cooper wins. He gets an Atlas championship shot, which is they have above 205 for their second belt.
So it's like their IC belt.
IC belt, but it's above 205.
Right.
So the big.
So it's like a heavyweight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Volta was the Atlas Championship. Gave it up because he wanted to go after the Progress Wrestling Championship. So yeah, that was all the stipulations. Once again, NXT do it so well as well. Everything means something.
Cool.
So Sexsmith and Walter were humorous as a tag team. Mm-hmm. So
we've seen him before, haven't we?
Sexsmith in the Rumble, yeah.
In the Rumble,
So his character's whole like sexually ambiguous, like he's got his Ugg boots on and he's like a little guy, like really likable. And Volta was like, "No, you need to get them.
You need to be serious. Take this.
You need to hurt them." It was brilliant. So they were good. And are you gonna watch it? The ending was.
I'm gonna watch it.
The ending of this match was mint, so I'll not spoil it. It was really good. Sexsmith's like absolute dude. So yeah, really enjoyed this one. Just watch it.
I will watch that.
All good, people.
I'm not gonna watch the other ones that you give us though, because I've got too much to watch.
This match in particular is important. So, talking again about WWE's working relationship with Progress.
Mm-hmm.
Ginny, their champion, and the House of Couture. So she's like a fashionista type, like wrestler.
Right.
She's class. Like really like hard hitting and like brutal, but like she wears like nice dresses and stuff. She was gonna wrestle Stephanie Newell, who is an NXT wrestler, ex-Progress, but is an NXT wrestler, because they're at Download at the time. She injured her knee at Download, So they got so her replacement was Dakota Kai. So WWE was like, you can lend Dakota Kai for the night.
All right.
So this shows their like
Yeah.
working relationship.
Cool.
So this was cool. Watch this. I'm not going to spoil it. I think you might like Ginny. She's cool.
So is that like the main event?
That was the main event. And the Progress Women's Championship is my new favourite belt.
Describe it.
It's like the Progress Heavyweight Championship, but it's like slimmer. It's like sleeker.
I don't know what the Progress Heavyweight
It
belt
doesn't
is.
like. It doesn't scream like this is a woman's belt. It's pink. It's like just a cool.
Yeah.
It's just a cool belt. Wait till you wait till see
cool.
what you think. But yeah, great show. I've never watched. Progress don't put on bad shows as far as I'm concerned.
I've not seen enough. I need to start watching it.
They're in the best position of all the independent like British companies.
Yeah.
Working in relationship with WWE. All of the guys on that pretty much are like either touted for WWE.
Yeah.
Got to think if you're someone like Mark Davis, you're gonna be getting watched like regularly.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got all the names like Mark Andrews and that, don't they?
Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate. Wolfgang doesn't wrestle. Oh, he has a few times actually wrestled Walter.
He's more of an ICW guy, isn't he?
He has wrestled Walter at Progress though. Anyway, so that was awesome. So the third show was TakeOver that I've watched this week. Chicago 2.
I'm a little bit like not want to talk about this very much.
Which matches have you seen?
First two.
Should we talk about them?
You can talk about them too, but after that, you can talk about the women's one because I'm probably not going to watch it.
And then just leave the
other ones out.
Can I say things and not tell you things?
Yeah, what things are you going to
there's a min thing that Champ does I really want to talk about though.
Fraser told us.
Can I
he
say
takes
a
the
bit?
ring thing off.
He spits on Gargano's...
No, we'll
just not talk about it. We'll leave that out. Right, so... Undisputed Era retained
my new favourite thing
against Larkin and Birch.
Undisputed Era. Cool.
I watched the whole show. I think they got the biggest reaction out of everyone.
Got a real big pop, didn't they?
Even bigger than Gargano.
I think it's because
everyone loves the faction.
Everyone loves the
all cool
heel
dudes
faction.
as well. Roderick Strong's suddenly cool.
It was that thing, wasn't it? Need to find something for him to do.
He's got a good heel face. He does a thing where he like zips his jacket down really slowly.
Yeah, he
shows a bit of the belt.
Like shoulder shuffle
like,
thing.
Hang on, where did you get your personality from? Start banging on about your family again.
I wonder if he still loves his family.
I don't think now that he's a cool dude, he doesn't love his family anymore. He put them in the bin. So yeah, it was. I loved seeing Larkin in a high profile pay-per-view match. He's been like grafting away for years.
I think that's probably going to be the peak of the time.
He's grafted away for years, bless him, and he's like
he took a hell of a bump on the apron though on the corner bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
I thought he might have actually hurt himself. Luckily he did not.
I think the crowd were quite apathetic towards Birch and Larkin.
We're at the end,
but by the end
of it,
they were they'd gained the respect. Larkin and Birch, both hard workers, great wrestlers, and it was nice. Even if that's the peak of their WWE career,
Birch could go out in the UK, NXT UK now. Not really sure what Larkin could do if that happened.
Like we say though, only walking. It was lush to see him.
It is, but
you never see him on takeovers.
You never see him much on NXT anymore. So, well, you have been lately, but before.
I feel he's the kind of guy that backstage that really everyone respects him, but they're not quite sure
what to do with
him.
Yep, good wrestler, man.
But I enjoyed that. Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream.
Hulk Hogan's won a fan back.
He has, yeah. One who's a similar skin tone to him as well.
Brother.
The Dream has no memory of that. that was the
best ever. Because I've seen a couple of things on Facebook and all daft things. I know.
So what was the context? They were showing him in Tough Enough.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Dream has no memory of that.
That's amazing. Just as a normal guy. Right. So yeah. I liked how the Dream was trying to match Ricochet for aerial moves.
Yeah, they use copy.
Because with him being a heel, he doesn't do that many like aerial things. But
Ricochet done the Dream at the end, didn't he? Copied him.
He did the elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't the finish though.
No.
But it was cool.
Just done a copy.
The 620 is the thing of beauty. No, is it the 630?
Very spinny.
So it's 450 with an extra spin.
With an extra spin.
Arse lands on them.
I don't know how people can do such things.
He's like in the build-up where he did the somersault over the top rope and landed on his feet on there.
That was proper cool. That.
And did you see he did a shooting star literally 3/4 of the across the ring? He's an absolute freak.
He is, but I don't like him on the microphone.
Is that your thing with him?
What?
Is that you struggle with him on the microphone?
Yeah, he's a good flippy man, but like
the Dream, like, so
the
you've
Dream,
got little
like,
VT
totally...
where he's like saying little things like the Dream has no memory of that, and like you can't compete. Nah. That's concerned. I agree with you on that. He's
and
cool.
I'm like a total turncoat because like when Velveteen Dream first came around, I was a bit like, nah.
You just have to listen back through the podcast.
But look at us now. Look
it's
how
more,
far I came.
The character's more multifaceted now. It's not just slightly like a camp guy. It's like it's a show off. It's complete to how it started out. It's different.
I think he's going to be huge.
Are you not worried that he loses
a
lot? He only on pay-per-view he's only beat Cassius Ohno.
So did Elias, and
yeah,
I think the Dream will be massive on the main roster.
Yeah. You know how he keeps losing? I would like to think they're going to give him like a big win at some time, or he'll beat Adam Cole, or something will happen.
I kind of see him beating Adam Cole because that would be a bit heely heel.
Or somebody beats Adam Cole and then he takes off.
I'd like to see him win something though, before his time's up in NXT.
Yeah, I think they might want him quite quickly elsewhere. Anyway, that was cool.
It was.
I want to see them wrestle again, but next time when I see them wrestle, I want there to be real emotion involved. So I think the Dream lost, and I think he's the show off, and I think to get himself to have the spotlight, he needs to be like, they could do him more aggressive, and he could like hit him with it. He could like do him in with a chair or something.
You know, a problem that NXT have, and it's just a little problem, is that when these new big names come in, they seem to like, they never get beat. You know, like
Ricochet
and Aleister Black and people like that, like, and they go on beating for ages and ages and ages, and the people who've been there for a while, like Velveteen Dream, end up getting sort of like
the homegrown ones.
Yeah, they get beat. Just a little problem, I think.
Yeah. Maybe they're so confident with Velveteen Dream's personality that they don't feel he needs to win every match because he's not always going to think he's the best.
Maybe.
But yeah, there is. They do seem to favour almost the opposite of Vince's approach of the people who have been on the road for like years are the ones that because Kevin Owens straight in, he was the first one who was like massive indie guy. Didn't lose. Yeah, interesting food for thought. Nikki Cross versus Shayna Baszler. Yeah, Cross's character work is some of the best in NXT for me.
How did Shayna end up getting her belt back? Because she pinched it.
She just pinched it back off her. I think they must have taken it back off Nikki Cross because Shayna Baszler had it when she came out.
No.
There was no. I think it was just to show that Nikki Cross is loopy.
It's like when the Rock.
If she had come to the ring with it though, like swinging it about.
Why is she not in Sanity anymore? Does she still have that crazy Sanity music?
Yeah, because they need women on NXT.
Do you think she'll rejoin Sanity
when
at
she
some
goes
point?
up? Yeah, I think that would be like they could bring her in in a point where they were losing the match, and she could like jump on people, and everyone would be like, "Who's this crazy?"
They can't possibly need women that much though, because of all that.
They're all really. In terms of where the cameras are, though, you've got to think they might be fantastic wrestlers, but you've got to learn things like cameras there. You've got to play to that camera. Nikki Cross is going to know all that kind of stuff because he's been there for a while. That's the sort of stuff they need to learn. Character work's excellent. She actually, Baszler put her to sleep with that choke, and she was just smiling herself to sleep. Like I think
was that the end?
That was the end. There's more matches than this, I think.
I
think this is just the beginning.
There must be, because if they're keeping her there, it wouldn't have just been for one match, would it? Like,
the whole story is like Baszler walks around the back and nobody else will look at her because they're all terrified, and like Nikki Cross
just loopy
doesn't know fear, and it works.
Cool, I like a bit of loopiness.
Aleister Black versus Lars, not seen.
Don't want to know.
It was really good. Lars' best singles match, and I think Aleister Black, for different reasons, his best single match as well.
Right.
Can't really get into it. Showed Limitless Keithley in the crowd.
Yeah.
Can't wait for people to see Keithley. Awesome.
He's a big dude, isn't he?
Absolute beast. I think he's there for when Lars Sullivan.
Do you think Lars is going to go up after SummerSlam?
I think Vince will see him and like him.
Do you think Brock's out the door, SummerSlam? Lars is up.
Lars is up as a replacement. He even got, he's like music similar. Like, he's got Lars' entrance is probably my favourite in wrestling at the minute.
His music's mint.
He had the beamless sun on him. It's completely black, the beamless sun on him. He walks down the ramp, the sun follows him down. Then it goes black again, he gets in the ring, then they put the spotlight on him. It's like, I've never seen anything like it.
It's cool, isn't it?
It is cool. But I think that there's a lot of character, like this sort of presentation going into...
I don't want to say... there's little niggly things about him that they need to iron out, I think.
He was good in this match, man. He was good in this match.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Gargano, champ, I really wish we could talk about it because I feel we won't talk about it.
I think we will talk. I'll make a point of talking about it on the next one, right?
We've moved on.
No, I'll make a point of talking about it.
There's so many things I want to talk about. Anyway, that was happened and it was amazing. I think there's another match there.
I promise we'll talk about it.
Right, we'll leave that. Right, so...
We can do a full podcast on it if you want. We'll do a Gargano champ special.
I could do, like. But we'll just talk about it briefly on the next one so we don't, like... NXT. So obviously there was the UK Championship tournament. Don't really want to talk about that too much until I've watched it, because I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, let's not talk about that yet.
But what we can talk about was NXT UK was announced. So possibilities. What does it mean? We've got NXT. We've got the UK champion, which is Pete Dunne.
Yep.
We're going to have UK Women's Champion. We're going to have UK Tag Champions.
Yep.
They're going to have their first recordings in July at the Cambridge Corn Exchange. So I presume they're going to be like NXT. They're going to do 8 episodes.
I would like to think of them having like a home base sort of like place where they do it. You know, like they've got Full Sail.
So you can plan around the.
So you can plan it. Yeah.
I'd like them to tour it.
I would like them to tour it.
Because you can tour and have your episode, recordings.
They do that in America. So.
I'd like to see crossover with Progress.
I'd like to see American NXT superstars come over for
That's a possibility.
One thing that I do think will happen is I think that Tyler Bate and Trent Seven will be first UK tag champions, and I think Undisputed Era are going to end up back with their belts for some.
I was just going to talk about the fact that they're the new NXT champions. Tag champions.
Is that not meant to?
Well, no, you can. Like, everyone in the world knows.
Yeah.
I think, like, that's not going to spoil us talking about the whole show later.
Yeah.
But, so I think that is, like, we talked about it in the card, didn't we? That, like, that is a perfect way for the Undisputed Era to get the belts back in a kind of wormy way. And then they just made the UK champs.
It's going to be so, like...
But do you not think because they're mega faces that they need to earn the UK... NXT UK Tag Championships?
But they've just beat the Undisputed Era, the biggest tag team in NXT.
Yeah, so they can kind of
have that one.
I
think it means doom a little bit, or a little spell of doom and gloom for the Defiant. Little shows like that.
Well, we've talked about this,
which we've already talked about.
Which is why it's important to build up. Yeah, show the way North have.
Yep.
Congratulations to Eddie Dennis.
Eddie
fucking Dennis. So he's signed.
He's there, right?
He's there. I think from reading between the lines in his tweets, he's like 6 or 7 months off with his pectoral rib.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
From reading between the lines in his tweets, he said stuff like, "This is the worst time to be injured as a British wrestler." So I think he thought he wasn't gonna make the cut. He's been to tryouts. He's kind of taught William Regal and stuff. So seeing his little like all of the photographs I've seen him.
I've never seen any of the photographs.
Seen him there on the stage. It's like,
because
he's like, I've seen him at North, and he's like, I've talked to him at North, and I've shook his hand and told him that I like hope the recovery was well.
So did everybody come out that is going to be involved? So who else did we have?
Amir Jordan.
Knew about that already, didn't I?
Travis Banks, Zach Gibson, pretty much all the guys from the first one. Flash Morgan Webster was there. No Mark Haskins. Trying to think of anyone else interesting. This is why it's going to be better then, because I'll just write a list. It'll be better when we've
seen it.
When we've seen it. But it's exciting times. I'm interested to see what everybody's schedule is going to look like for the next few months, where they're going to fulfill all their bookings. I mean, Eddie Dennis is at North next in July, so obviously he had that book beforehand. Interesting things.
Shame we can't go.
No, it's a shame. So R.I.P. Vader.
I know.
My favourite big man from my youth. Now better than watching Vader just destroy a jobber.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Sting's feud, absolutely amazing at WCW.
And of course, what does it mean for American Vader?
What, Jake's
character?
Who had nothing to do with Vader, really.
No, he's just pinched his name. Yeah, it was sad. He was a brilliant big man, like you said.
He kind of the new hybrid big man, so could move like
first of his kind, wasn't he?
He was. Him and Bam Bam Bigelow were kind of like came around the same time. Big men who could do like moonsaults, and you kind of lasting legacy is people like Hansen from War Raiders, who he's still not going for the War Raiders.
That War Machine.
Who can do like moonsaults and that, and is a big guy, because back in the day you would have been told don't do that because you're a big guy. So shades of mold. Awesome.
What about Cat? What were thoughts on Big Cat?
I think there's a lot gone on that they've not
let on about, because
I
think he's a dooley backstage. Do you?
Yeah.
Do you think Daniel Bryan's had something to do with this, because he's been stuck in this program with Cass? And I
think Daniel Bryan really strikes me as the kind of guy that would be devastated if he thought he'd lost someone their job. So I just think he's. I think him and Enzo just seem like fucking idiots.
They could get back together now, and they could like
charge a premium on their indies, so
more so than Enzo on his own anyway. But it was weird though, because they had that, like, he said something about him on Twitter, but he'd been on a podcast or something that don't actually get on with each other at the minute. So I think it's probably not likely to happen.
It's easy to put aside differences if there's money to be made. I
think the likes of Enzo, he seems like a guy who would like a book.
Yeah. And starting off his Virgin and rap career. That's it for me.
I can talk a little bit about New Japan Dominion.
Well, yeah, I think because I've just... Hi. I'm back in the game.
So Dominion, I can talk a little bit about it, but I watched it so long ago that I can't remember everything that happened to it.
In terms of like timeline wise, because we went through the matches, we should at least touch on it, because I've had to like
6 hours it was on,
because I had in my head I was going to watch this Progress show. I knew I wanted to watch TakeOver. I knew I was going to Defiant. Like, I just had to go. Sorry, I want to watch Okada and Chris Jericho eventually.
So
Okada and
6 hours. Right?
Know the matches.
I couldn't even watch the whole thing myself because it was on that long. So I missed
a few. Elgin in that, didn't you? He's a baddie anyway.
Elgin.
I only recently found out what he was in trouble for.
What was it? I know that he done bad things, and like WWE were actually watching him with, and then like bad things happened.
Allegedly, he was aware that one of his, because he runs a wrestling school, student was like a male student was sexually harassing a female student and ignored it.
Wow.
That's what allegedly is happening.
But it might not have really happened. He's cut a lot of weight by the looks of it, though.
I mean, they seem cool in Japan with him.
Yeah,
just put the never open weight belt on him.
It's a bit of a crappy belt, though, isn't it?
It's like that fifth belt.
Yeah, you can have that.
Don't do bad things no more.
Yeah, that was an alright match, though, from what I can remember.
So you didn't jettison that one? You watched that one?
I watched it, yeah. It was good. This is kind of like a Dave review.
Top 3 things?
What, of the whole show?
Of the whole show.
Marty Scurll sticking his fingers up with fans, that's quite funny.
Marty Scurll was in the
6-man tag thing
with Rey Mysterio
against legends and stuff. What they kept calling them, legends.
It was Liger, Mysterio, and
Tanahashi.
Tanahashi.
That one. But yeah, he was like just walking up the ramp at the end, sticking his fingers up at people, which I thought was hilarious.
Flicking them the
beat. Don't know what's going on with the whole Cody thing. Looks like he might be doing a little face turn. I'm not sure if I'll enjoy that. What else happened?
What made him do face? What was face?
He came out at the end and he sort of looked like he was gonna say like well done to Omega, but then thought against it, and then they've done the whole
at the very end.
Yeah, and then they've done the whole being the elite thing where he went to take a present to Omega, but then he walked away again and he didn't do it. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, nice.
The Bucks won the heavyweight tag belts for the first time.
After they've won the juniors 9 times, like
against Evil and Sonata.
Good.
Which was good. That was another good match. There was a lot of selling of the bad. Was it the bad knee? There was a bad knee. No, there was a bad knee happened.
They seem to. I think this is all in response to people
saying that they don't tell a story.
That Spot Monkeys.
Yeah, but they are doing better with that now. And then the Jericho looked amazing.
So what do you make of his new Clockwork Orange?
He come out like Clockwork. He's just doing what he wants, any now.
Yeah.
I'm Chris Jericho.
He's obviously like he's like watch Clockwork Orange this week, and obviously like he's a big like metal fan, and that and he's just like I'm gonna just look like this.
He's just like
what did he come out to music wise? Because it was Judas
Fozzy,
last time.
Judas, yeah. The match was really good. It was like almost like a hardcore sort of match, though. You know what I mean? There was like you need to watch it.
I'm gonna watch those two. He seems very aggressive in Japan because he obviously was against Omega and
he was really aggressive, and then he attacked him after the match as well. So he just kept going,
even though he'd already won.
Yeah, and it was either.
Did he win by a shenanigans or?
I can't remember. No, he done it. It was a code breaker, sort of.
So it was a clean
out of nowhere, sort of code breaker thing.
So it was a clean win.
I think so, from what I can remember. So it was weird. It was a Saturday, so I wasn't expecting to be able to watch it because I was going to watch it on New Japan World, and I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And Jake found it online, so we just sort of like sat and watched it off the cuff, sort of thing. So I didn't write any notes or anything. But the Omega and Okada match, if you don't watch any of the other matches, like I highly recommend it. Because what we were talking about before about them not telling stories and stuff like that, like they totally did. It goes on for like over an hour, and it's just amazing.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch that, and I'm gonna watch the Jericho match because I feel I should. And the end was nice as well with the Golden Elite. Golden Elite.
Which Tamatonga's probably gonna hate. But yeah, it's a good show if you've got a spare 6 hours. Sit and watch it. But if you don't watch that, then definitely watch Omega.
Just a little extra thing about Kota Ibushi. He's now allowed to wrestle at that arena where he did the balcony dive off again.
Right.
Have you ever seen the balcony dive he did?
No.
Literally massive balcony in the air, like miles in the air. It's about like 25 feet. No, like Jim, like it sounds like a Jim Ross exaggeration, but it's not. He literally, and he like does a moonsault off it. If you've never seen Kota Ibushi's moonsault off the balcony, watch it.
I'm gonna.
Unreal. In fact, I'm gonna show you as soon as we finish.
Cool.
I'd never seen him before, and I was like, Christ almighty, what a lunatic. But that's why, so he's recently just been allowed, because he's not on these shows when they're wrestling in this building, because he's
why is he not allowed on it? Just because
he
he's
jumped
jumped
off
on the balcony. I'm not sure where he fits into this elite thing.
I mean, I don't know if this is like stereotypical, but Japanese are big on the rules.
Right.
So I think that's it. I don't know, it's odd, isn't it?
It's funny. I don't know why this is happening.
Like, you've got the Bucks and like Omega running around, and then like he's looking like Omega's the Ibushi's there looking all like wistful. He's still my favourite Japanese guy. Best, like, such a good wrestler.
Do you think he might turn on Omega? For a shot at the belt?
He seems like the ostracised one there.
I don't know. They've printed new t-shirts.
Ibushi's 34, you know. He's like, you're going to think that they're going to, main event push is going to be sooner rather than later. Anyway.
I'd like to see the matches.
That would do.
What do you think of Omega taking New Japan to the next level?
I think he's got to have signed some sort of contract extension.
It's got to be, we talked about this before, best for business for him to have the belt.
You got him as the champ, is the main champ. You've got Ospreay as the junior. You've got...
No, you don't. He lost it.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
Who? Kushida?
I can't remember.
Kanemaru.
I can't remember who he was fighting.
Alright.
Definitely lost it though.
So you think that was to redress the...
Every single belt change hands?
Do you think that was to redress the Gaijin to Japanese belt holding ratio?
Possibly. But
or do you think it's because he wants to go in G1?
There's that, and I think it might mostly be that.
I'm sure I saw the bracket for the G1. He's not in it though.
Is it out already? Actually, I'll be starting soon, won't
It was out. It was online.
I'd love to watch that from start to finish. That would be something exciting.
20 million hours.
I know. It's not going to happen, is it?
If my job was just watching wrestling all day and getting paid, what a job that would be.
But yeah, anyway, every single belt change hands.
That mustn't happen very often on shows.
I've been sitting thinking of a wrestler all the way through this, and I wasn't going to do this today, but I might as well do it now because like I've got a new hatred, and it really like
a new hatred.
You hate it, and I think it's funny.
Right, and then we'll do the
holes.
Right, male or female?
I'm not allowed to say
because that's not the game. Is it? Is it a male?
Yes. You know what I like about this game is you still don't know how to play it properly, and it's so simple.
Do they wrestle in predominantly Japan?
No.
UK?
Yes.
They predominantly wrestle in the UK.
Did.
Well,
I'm going to give you that as a hint.
Did wrestle. I'm so tired for this game today. Do they wrestle in the WWE?
No.
Do they wrestle in Japan?
You've already asked that.
I'm really can we just not play? Tell us who it is, I'm tired.
Yes,
this has been a farce.
But it's funny.
It's broken down. I don't have the will.
I've been thinking a lot about Bazban, right? And you know how
how
I kicked the show off with...
Oh, I've got another thing I want to say. Sorry.
You know how I kicked the show off talking about Curry, and Bazban's mask looks a bit like Keema from a Keema naan bread.
It does look like Keema. They call him Hamface. Is that who you're thinking about?
That's what I was thinking about.
No, I would have never got that.
Those are the reasons why. Because his face looks like Keema.
Keema naan face?
Yeah.
No, that would have been the reason. I'm glad we got the reason because the reason's amusing, but nobody wants to hear me.
I did. I was enjoying the struggle. I think it's more fun
you know
when
what,
you
I
can
think
watch
I'd be
it.
really good at the game had I not been at work all day.
Yeah.
So, do you remember Liam Slater, who wrestled the Primate in the hardcore match at North?
Uh-huh.
No, I would not seen him on any shows or anything. He's retired and become a personal trainer.
Alright. I wonder if he's going to work in Primate's gym.
I thought he was like really good.
Mm-hmm.
Up and comer, but...
Facts that we did not know have happened.
Gone. So I'm going to put in the Hall of Fame Jimmy Havoc for having to...
Can we put Vader in?
Yeah, it's probably... No, but we've got one each.
Oh, I'm putting Vader in.
So I'll put Jimmy Havoc in for being a cool dude and having a pint with us and talking about deathmatch wrestling to us and having mint matches. And
especially with having sadness behind his eyes.
Yeah. He's always got sadness behind his eyes.
I'm going to put Vader in out of respect. Respect
for Vader, yeah. It's a good reason.
Who are you putting in the shit one?
Martin Kirby again? No. Let's go through my notes.
I want to put you in for being really bad at that game.
What's annoyed us this week?
Not much. I'm going to put that whole Defiant show in that we went to the other day.
Defiant lack of direction?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really nice that I got to go because I didn't know I was going to go. I could also put Big Cass's bad attitude in there as well.
We could put big. I'm just going to put Big Cass in.
You know what I'm going to put in? I'm going to put them slippers in because ever since I got them slippers, they've been tarred with badness.
Yeah. Those slippers have been unlucky for their career.
I'm putting them slippers in the Hall of Shame or whatever it's called these days.
So a couple of years ago, there was that tag team on NXT that everybody loved and was like hyped for. Not worked out well for them, has it?
It didn't work out well at all.
So Big Cass probably should go in for being a knacker.
Yeah.
7 foot tall, and you've managed to get yourself fired of a company that Vince McMahon's in charge of, who loves massive guys.
You can't teach that.
You can't teach that. What a spaz. So, did we do one each, or?
I've put about 7 things in now.
The Slippers.
Cars.
Martin Kirby again.
Martin Kirby. Defiant.
Defiant's lack of direction's a good one, like. We really want to, like...
Death in general. Stop taking people.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this bad boy up. If you want to get in touch with the show, which nobody ever does, it's the WrestleFriends podcast at yahoo.com. I would really, really like someone to email in just so I could say that we had one email.
So, somebody last week, so it is the 21st of June, so one day this week, downloaded 20 of our shows.
I might suss who it is, though.
Who is it?
Your friend Joe Buttersworth has a friend who liked our Facebook page, yesterday. Maybe it was him. Maybe it was that guy. Maybe it's the person who just downloaded all our episodes could email and let me know.
The person who just downloaded that. Well, that was what I was going to say. Yeah, whoever downloaded all of our episodes last week, send her an email.
And if somebody does email in, I'll get you a packet of fruit parcels.
Like anyone, all the guys that listen to the podcast, I know all of you. All of you send her a question in, because then we could do a episode where I wouldn't have to do any thinking.
Yeah, and Mark probably won't have to play that game.
I don't want to play that game again, unless I'm really not tired and haven't been away. So, did you say the email's all over West stuff?
It's the WrestleFriends podcast at yahoo.com. Someone please email me, and I will read it out. And I will talk about it. Crowd participation is needed.
Small group participate.
Well, why should we do all the work on our podcast?
Bye.
Bye.